Welcome to the African Hub for Sustainable Creative Economies. My name is Avril Jaffe. I'm with the Cultural Policy and Management Department at University of the Witwatersrand. And we've been hosting the South African Hub for Film and Digital Technologies. So I'm here with Angela Majozi. I'm very glad to have her with us. And we're going to hear from her about her journey as a production coordinator. So Angela, do tell us a little bit about how you got into the industry and your role as a production coordinator.
Okay, hi, my name is Nomalungelo Angela Majozi. I'm a production coordinator in the film and television industry. I've got into this industry 5 years back in 2018. Started fresh from varsity. The way in which I got into the industry was a recommendation from a friend. I started off as a PA. That's where I learned about all the departments, just to see where I fit well within the production space. It's more of like an intern. Then I grew quickly into being a production coordinator, and that's where I do a lot of paperwork. I I organize the production in such a way that I make sure the crew is paid, that their paperwork is fine, sorting out invoices, ordering gear for sound, for the camera department, for the grips department, and the various departments, making sure that all the departments need everything that they need on a day-to-day basis, based on where we are shooting. And yeah, it's just smooth, ensuring that there's smooth running within the production. That's what a coordinator does.
Okay, cool. So how did you get into the industry? Did you study? Did you come in as a PA?
I studied drama at AFTA, live performance. And then within my first year, we were meant to pick other subjects. So I picked directing, producing, animation, and writing. But I was very, very strong in producing, and I found it very interesting because that's another aspect that you're not exposed to when you're at home, that you don't know that there's people behind the camera. Then when I went into that discipline, that's where I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. You can wiggle around money and organize and get everything to get together. And that's how my love for production started.
And can you tell us a little bit about who you work with? Like so you talk about helping coordinate the crew and the makeup department and so on. And who do you report to and who's the rest of your whole team?
So in a production space, the team is the executive producer at the top. Then you'll have the creative producer, the line producer, the production manager, which we call the PM. Then we'll have the PC, which is the production coordinator, myself. Then we'll have a PA, which is a production assistant. And sometimes we'll have production interns. That is just the whole production holistically. Then there's other departments that form within the film. So as I've been stating, that there's a sound department, then they have their own hierarchies. And yeah, so there's sound, there's makeup, there's costume, there's unit, there's quite a lot, but also depending on how big of a scale of the film that you're actually shooting. So it's not always the same crew or the same number of people that is needed to shoot a film. It's dependent, it really is dependent on the type of movie that you're shooting and the type of budget that is allocated for the film that you're shooting.
So do you typically go from production to production, or do you have lots of time when you are waiting to hear about the next job that's coming your way? What is your life as a freelancer? Tell us a little bit about that.
My life as a freelancer is quite scary. It's been quiet, like recently right now. What I can talk about is I've been going from production to production, back to back, until July. Then everything kind of like stopped. So I'm just like, okay, what's going on? Because I'm used to like getting calls and like, hey, are you busy? We need you to come do this. And usually I'd be within a production, but everything just seemed to stop. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then now I got my first call, like, hi, Angela, we need you to start shooting with us on the 23rd of October. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'd be able to do that. It's a shoot in Cape Town. But then I get a call again on Friday. It's like, hey, we're starting shoot on Monday. Can you join us? And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But then like the time lapse or the time frame just fell into place. It was just like perfect. So it really depends on the season that we're in. Mid 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 month, mid year, and like Junes and your Julys. It's kind of sometimes dry. Right now within in Cape Town, they had the writers' strike and the actors' strike. So work was a bit scarce. There's a lot of people giving each other calls like, hey, what's going on? Do you know? I haven't had a call. So it's a bit crazy and it's unstable and it takes a lot on a person. You need to like mentally train yourself and prepare yourself and not depend on one job, I guess. Like not depend on being a freelancer. You'd have to like make other means, which I have not. I'm still trying to figure out what is my other passion so that I can actually sustain myself financially.
So when you're not working, you don't have access to UIF or medical aid or anything like that?
Yeah, so when I'm not working, I tried right now to apply for UIF, but it didn't work out for me. We don't get those privileges and those perks. We don't have medical aid. So it's basically no work, no pay. If you're not working within the industry, you're not getting paid. If you're sitting at, even if you're working within the industry and God forbid you get sick, and you need some time out, the time that you're going to get out, you most likely not to be paid for it. Then you'd have to see yourself as to like what you need to do. So it's really important for a person to consider saving. And as I said as well earlier before, that you need to consider having a second stream of income because it's really tough.
So are you in the place exactly where you want to be? Is this what you want to do for forever, or have you got other ambitions that you want to move into?
I'd really like to executive produce in the long run. What I'm doing right now is just really learning as much as I can from the different companies that I work with and see which types, I think I already know which types of films that I want to shoot. But like see how like the entire planning, the pitching process, and for you to actually like win those pitches, how the entire process really works, and also make the correct connections and know that, oh, okay, these are the people to speak to. This is how the things are done, and this is how it's run, and this is how you actually get afforded funds for a film. So I'm still trying to yeah, get myself into those spaces because mostly when you are on set or at base camp, the the access that you have is the production manager or the line producer, but it's never the executive producer who is responsible for getting the funds for the film. So you don't get to connect in that way to be like, oh, okay, I'd really like guidance here. But when the more you advance lining and also seeing things on a bigger scale, because I don't think I know everything about running a production as much as I feel like I'm running things over here, but I think there's more things that I'd still need to learn, yeah, to better understand the industry, the pitching side, the other side, the economic side of things.
So if you were to advise some young new entrant coming into the film industry wanting to be a production coordinator, what would your advice to them be?
I'd advise a person wanting to come into the industry as a production coordinator to really just start as a production assistant, learn as much as they can, listen to the people, listen to like clear instructions, and make sure that you have clear instructions when someone gives you an instruction, because it's very difficult. Hey, please go buy this. Make it your responsibility to ask for the quantity, which brand, if they prefer, not just to go and be in a rush to do everything and prove yourself, but to really just slow down and take everything in, listen, and yeah, and go about it. And it's also very important to be pedantic about everything within this industry and know, like, just be like a very it's like you're an accountant in a way, and you're very like strict with your work. It's very, very important to do that, but also to treat the job as fun, because we really do work like long hours. If you don't love it, then it will take a toll on you. So it needs, being a production coordinator needs you to actually love your job, and also have like a sort of a love for people, because people do come to you for things, and you need to be approachable and make the work environment more, what's the word for it, like more at ease. Like people need to be at ease for them to do their job. So it's like you're mothering people in a way, making sure that they're okay, making sure that everyone's not throwing their toys at their cart, making sure that everything is fine.
So
Yeah.
it sounds like you're exactly where you want to be right now, and you've given up on the live performance part of your journey, and you
Yes,
are
yes, yes.
basically holding space for everybody else. So can you just end off by saying what it is that drives you? Why are you so passionate about this work of coordinating, project managing, doing all the grit and the grind that makes the whole production come together?
I think my passion lies in serving people. I think it's a job of service, but also a job that is fulfilling when you see everything come together. It's beautiful to see everything come together and know that you're working with people and that you're not alone, because I'm a team player. So having the assisting one another and like, hey guys, how do we do this? Like working within a team and being amongst people that are like passionately driven is something that drives me and that wakes me up in the morning. And I know that like, oh, okay, today I'm seeing this person, we're gonna do this, we're gonna take this big, huge elephant and bite it bit by bit by bit and by bit until everything comes into fruition.
So thank you so much, Angela, for sharing your story and your journey and your passion with the African Hub for Sustainable Creative Economies. And we wish you so well. And one day we'll hear you as an exec producer.
You could, yes. Thank you so much for having me, Avril. I think your program is really, really beautiful. I can't wait to see everything come together as well for your side.
Thank you, Angela. Bye.
Thank you so much.